Well, hello everybody. My name is Dan. I just go by Dan. My full name is Bogdan Leitan. I'm from Romania. I live in the States. I lived here for 20 years. Uh, I live in Orlando, Florida, and I'm here to talk to you about my personal experience with water fasting. I didn't set out to do 54 days. I started, I would say, quite a, quite a few weeks ago with 7 days. I finished that and I was thinking to myself, well, if that's possible, if 7 days is possible, why not more than that? And to be frank with you, out of curiosity and pretty much nothing else, well, maybe losing some weight. That was, but other than that, nothing, nothing else. Most people, I mean, a lot of people ask me, why did I do it? What illnesses was I trying to cure or anything? I'm like, I ain't got nothing, man. I ain't got nothing. I'm lucky. I'm not cocky, believe me. I'm just lucky, and I'm grateful. I I'm grateful I did not have a reason to actually do this water fasting. So after the 7 days, which happened in the Easter time, I was like, okay, let me try more. And I didn't set out to do 54. I was pushing for 30, and then I was like, okay, let me do 40, and then 42, which a lot of people do. There's millions actually, as far as I know. There's a lot of people that do 40 or 42 days. Um, Apparently, I did 54, and to my surprise, I'm quite a phenomenon back in Romania because there's not many people that actually did this. It's quite extensive. It was quite extensive, and I don't want to sit here and sound like a hero and talk to you and be like, yeah, man, yeah, it's all good, you should do it and stuff. No, it's after a while it's becoming quite stressful. So what I wanted to emphasize is a few things that maybe you should know if you're thinking about pursuing this path for longer than 7 days. I did 7 days with absolutely no issues, absolutely no problems, no issues whatsoever, man. Um, but I ran into some things after doing 54 days. Not quite during the fasting, but after that. And the reason I'm here is to tell you that it's possible. If I did it, I would say 90% of the population can do it. According to statistics, this prolonged water fasting, it's not quite common yet, and apparently I'm in the very small category of people that did it. According to statistics, it's like 1 or 2% of the world's population that actually achieved such a long time. I'm blessed, I'm lucky to be able to have done it. I'm proud I did it, but proud in a good way. I'm not, once again, I'm not cocky about it. I'm just proud because I know what I had to go through, and I know I did it. So it's a self achievement, self improvement feeling that it's hardly comparable to anything else that I ever did. I quit smoking 5 years ago, and that was a high achievement for me. I quit meat 5 years ago, which once again was a high achievement. But this by far, it's like the highest. So let's get into some things that you should know in case you want to do this long, you know, water fasting. First of all, uh, it feels amazing. Losing weight and realizing that you don't need food or alcohol or coffee or all of these things that people say, yeah, man, if I don't have my brownie in the morning, I'm crap. Or if I don't have my whiskey at night, I cannot sleep. Or if I can't do this, I'm not. No, it's all It's all in your brain, and you can live without most of the things that you think you cannot live without. Believe me. I was able to lose for almost 3 weeks. I was losing roughly 2 pounds a day, so 1 kilogram per day. After that, the lost losing process started to slow down. It went up and down and down and up, and then after all, in like 54 days, I managed to drop 61 pounds. I started at 236 pounds, and I ended up at 175.7 pounds, which is 61 pounds. When you hear 236, you might be like, holy crap. Well, yeah, it sounds like holy crap, but I'm 6'7", okay? I'm quite tall, so I didn't look fat, I was not looking fat. I just felt like, I could use a break. And the reason I did all of this water fasting is not necessarily lose weight, but I read about it and I heard about the fact that it's good to actually give your body a break from all of this food processing, And I was like, okay, let's try and see how long can I do it. So that was the beginning, and that was pretty much the end. Nothing religious or nothing whatever. I got people that ask me, I was like, no, it was not religious. It was just purely medical. So 2 pounds a day. The beauty of doing all of this is that the body starts to eat itself up. I mean, that's how you lose weight. I mean, you're not sweating the weight out. You pretty much start eating yourself up. It's a process called phagia or autophagia or something like that. Look it up. I didn't have the time to look up the terminology in English. But the body starts to eat itself up, and it starts with fat, and it starts with stuff that's not necessarily meant to be there. And I'm talking about bad cells, and I'm talking about illnesses, and I'm talking about nasty stuff like cancer or, pretty much illnesses. The brain has the capability of locating those bad areas in the body, and they will get consumed naturally. They will get consumed, and that's once again the beauty of doing this extended water fasting. You will lose a lot of weight, but if you extend this water fasting, you will start losing muscles. Unfortunately, there's nothing extra you gotta do to get the fat back. So you will lose a lot of fat, but also muscles. There's nothing much you gotta do to get the fat back. All you gotta do is like sit on the couch and eat whatever you want, and fat will come back to you. Muscles, you gotta start working out. So that's a downside of doing extended water fasting. Besides fat and besides the nasty things that are in your body, you will start losing muscles, including heart muscle. As a side effect of this, and I would strongly recommend you not to do this in the winter, or if you live in a very cold area, you will get naturally colder. Your feet will get colder, your hands will be colder. You will constantly feel much colder than your normal yourself. So I would not recommend you doing this in the winter. If you have winter where you live at. I don't. I live in Florida. Yeah, so you will get cold. Don't do this in the winter. What I wanted to also say is that after my 30th day or something like that, I had to contact my doctor, because I started to have like heart palpitations. So I guess my heart would go from 64 BPM to 148 BPM just by sitting on the couch, and I was like, holy crap, this is not quite good. So that's when I reached out to my doctor, and a couple of them told me that, well, the body can function and function well for a while and quite for a long while without food, but without minerals it's becoming quite a fight. And they said I should definitely take sodium, which is salt. I should take let me see, potassium, calcium and zinc. I did potassium, calcium and zinc for a few days. Zinc made me sick. The 2 days that I took zinc, like pills, those 2 days were the only days in which I felt like puking, and I was like, well, there's nothing I can puke because there's nothing there to be puked out. So I stopped taking zinc, I stopped taking calcium and potassium, but I kept on getting some salt in me. And in the same day when I started taking salt, my heart relaxed. And also I can tell you that I saw exactly what the doctors are talking about, that salt actually keeps water into your body. It's like stocking or withholding water into the body, because once again, every day I used to drop 2 pounds every day for like at least 3 weeks, 2 pounds per day. Once I started taking salt, it was almost no more weight drops, and I'm like, holy crap, I'm not liking this, but for my heart I did it. And then slowly the weight losing process continued. But I would strongly recommend at least salt. Don't drink just plain water. Speaking of water, my doctor and a friend's wife, who's a nurse, recommended this type of water when they heard what I'm doing. During your water fasting, drink as much as you can purified water with a 9.5 pH or higher. And what I could easily find in Target, Publix, I guess Costco, BJ's, what have you. It's I think it's called Essentia. It's a alkaline water, 9.5 pH, purified. It's not quite cheap, but given the fact that you're saving a lot of money on the other side of the business, which is food, you can definitely get this. This will truly help a lot. I mean, this and salt truly got me through 54 days. Also, do not drink this in regular basis if you're not fasting. It's not that healthy for the body, as far as I know. It is not recommended for for being consumed as normal water, right? So if you're fasting, drink alkaline water with as high as possible pH value. If you don't fast, if you have a normal life and normal diet and whatnot, do not drink this in regular basis, because it's not quite healthy. It's, the pH is very high, so you don't need this, right? By eating normally and feeding yourself normally, you don't need such water. For those of you in Europe that are watching this, I mean, people in Romania were asking me, hey man, what about this? And I was like, well, if you cannot find it, find something else that's close to this, So this is 9.5 pH. Alkaline water. That's what you need. And I felt instantly, because man, when you start fasting after 1 week or 2 or 3, every little change that you do to your body, you will constantly feel it, So once I started drinking that with salt, little salt, everything became better. What else? Yeah. Now about the not so good stuff. When I told my doctor that I'm doing this water fasting, he said that I should definitely do enemas, ENEMA, enema. It's like a colon flush, right? I didn't feel like doing that. I didn't feel like pumping water in certain places. So I didn't do any of those things. And the time came when I started to eat again, which, by the way, you gotta be very careful coming back from such a long water fasting. There's no way you can eat normally. There is absolutely no way you should eat or you can eat normally. You gotta start with juices. You gotta start with smoothies. I mean, it's a whole process. It's a long process. Please look it up. It's highly important. There's people that got saved from Auschwitz, from Nazi camps, from Russian concentration camps. They were starving for months. They got saved by whatever armies. They got to eat again, and they were eating like wolves because they were hungry like wolves. And some just died, man. The body cannot take it. I mean, more or less, it's a process of starvation, right? So there's no way you can jump from starvation to ingesting 3 pounds of food. I mean, your stomach and your intestine will go like, and that's it. So coming back from water fasting, it's a whole process in itself. You should truly look it up. Doing this enema thing, flushing of your colons, colon, you only got one. Highly recommended. I didn't do it and I highly regretted it. It was, I mean, for a week I was messed up. I mean, I just couldn't go to the bathroom, and by constantly stressing out that area, I developed something that I never had in my life. They're called piles, or also hemorrhoids. Nasty stuff is gonna make your bathroom experiences painful and stressful, and oh my god. So definitely do 3-4 times per week enema. You pump water into your rectum and to your anus actually, and just hold it for as much as you can, and then it's gonna come out naturally. uh, it's gonna greatly improve your everything coming back from the water fasting over 7 days. Now doctors also recommend this for even for 7 days. I didn't do it, I was fine. But coming back to a normal life, if you will, after 54 days, it was unbelievably painful and stressful. What I wanted to mention is that so obviously, if you're here watching this, means you're into water fasting or you're curious about water fasting. So what I'm about to tell you will actually make you very, very happy, because it's not just me, it's people around me that did water fasting. It's people on Facebook and YouTube, and people that contacted me, and they are eager to talk to me, because I'm quite a phenomenon back in Romania, for doing 54 days. What I wanted to say is that after you pass I would say, to be safe, the 4th day. The 3rd day is the hardest. The 4th day, once you pass that, you can easily do 7. So if you're planning on doing 7, believe me, you will do 7 if you manage to get to the 4th day. The 3rd day will mess you up. The 3rd day you'll be cranky, you'll be nasty to yourself and to people around you. It's a barrier that you'll need to pass. If you don't pass that, you will go back to square one and start again in a few weeks. But you can definitely pass the three days bar. Once you get into the 4th, you will stop being hungry. And look at me, man. After my fourth day came 50 more days of fasting. I was not hungry. I was not craving food. I was not hungry. I was talking to people that had no idea what I'm doing. And one more thing, don't tell anybody. They will start feeling sorry for you. They will start being scared for you. Don't tell them. You don't need to tell anybody. Fasting is a personal thing. You do it for yourself. Fasting, it's personal. Don't mention it to anybody. So, what did I want to say? I lost my train of thoughts. But so yeah, the 3 or 4 days fasting. So I was not hungry, man. And yeah, I was talking to people and they were mentioning, man, I'm traveling, I'm in Spain, or oh my God, I'm in Italy and we just had some pasta. Or a friend at the time kept on mentioning that, well, you know, my ex-wife was from Nicaragua or whatever, some Latin country here in South America, and the cooking was so great, and they used to cook every night all kinds of things, and he would give details and smells and flavors and whatnot. And I was just sitting here, you know, after like, you know, a full month of not having anything but water, and I was not craving anything, man. I was just listening. I was like at peace. I was like not even thinking about how nice would be to actually try that food or just to smell it. No, I was fine. So after you pass the 4th day, you can easily do 7. After 7, it's up to you. But the only reason I'm here once again is to tell you that it's possible. I did it. I am nothing special. I am absolutely nothing special. I'm just a random guy in the world that did it. Okay? 54 days. If I did 54 days with no training, with nothing, okay, you can easily do 7 or 14, you know. Don't ever compare yourself to me or to anybody else that did 60 days, or that world record gentleman that did, I don't know if I mentioned it, apparently the world record for water fasting is 384 days, if I'm not wrong, done by a gentleman a few years ago, but he was overweight by a lot. So don't compare yourself to, you know, when you're out in the pool, you must be crazy to compare yourself to Michael Phelps, the world record, you know, fast swimmer. When you're out jogging or running, you must be out of your mind to compare yourself to Usain Bolt, you know, the best in the world, you know, at running 100 meters. I mean, don't, you know, so if you're thinking about doing this water fasting, don't compare yourself to me with 54 days. It does not matter. We are not built the same, you know. You can train, or I can train for 1,000 years, man, and run every day and eat the finest food on the planet and do whatever. I will never be able to swim like Michael Phelps or run like Usain Bolt. Never. Neither do you. So don't compare yourself to me that I did 54. Listen to your body, and if you feel like you need to do this, or if your doctor recommended such path, just take it easy and do it, because believe me, you can. Once you pass the 4th day, 3/4 day, you'll be fine. Now, you can probably go to 64 days. Maybe you can do 97 days. Maybe you can do 3 days. Don't ever feel bad for not achieving something that I achieved, or Michael Phelps achieved, or Air Jordan. You are not Air Jordan. You will never be Air Jordan. I will never be Air Jordan. Once again, don't compare yourself. Don't look at me and say, oh my God, man, this guy did 54. There's no way. You don't have to do 54 to begin with. So take it easy and pass the 4th day, and you'll be so happy that you did 7, and then you will get to 7 and say, well, I don't feel like crap, I'm still okay. Let me do, let me do 9 days or 2 weeks. And that's how you will get to wherever your body will allow you to get. That's another thing that I wanted to underline here. I heard it in so many places. And in my case, obviously happened because I'm nothing special. Your body will tell you when it's time to stop. You will know. I was asking my doctor, I was like, hey man, so when should I stop? And she said, you will know. I was like, what do you mean? It's like, your body will tell you. You will know when the time to stop comes. And in my case, the time came around, I would say, 47 days, 48 days. I was wasted, man. I was done. I was like, oh my God, there is no way. But somehow I managed to push for 54. The last week was, well, not horrible, but very hard. I did some work also, some heavy lifting. I was impressed. I was like, holy crap. I mean, how can I still do it? Apparently, the human body is way more capable of doing things than you will ever know or I will ever know. So start easy, set a goal for 4 days. If you pass the third and you go into the fourth, you'll be easily doing 7. Don't forget about the sodium, salt. Drink better water, not tap water or stuff from the stores. I mean, that's from the store, but that's not 50 cents per bottle. That's like $3.50 per bottle or higher price wise. But it's worth it. It will help you. And second of all, don't ever count on the fact that it's Friday and you just woke up and you feel like crap and the whole day is going to be like that. No, you will have stupendously humongous ups and downs. So constantly, it's not a linear, it's not a standard state of being. You will feel better, you will feel worse. Sometimes you will feel like jumping off of the couch or chair and just like going out for a run. And there's other times in which you would not even conceive going upstairs, for a glass of water or whatever, because it's like, I don't feel like walking up, This being said, I wanted to read to you a few of my blood work numbers. So this is before and after. So I'm gonna give you the before and after, and then what the doctor recommends. So if I do any mistakes at naming some things in English, I'm not accustomed to, I rarely use them. So it's what it is. But if you're interested, here they are. Cholesterol, okay? Total cholesterol. I started at 217. I ended up with 109. So that's half, man. More than half down. Doctor recommended under 200. So I started at 217. I ended up at 109 with total cholesterol. The HDL cholesterol, I started at 45. I ended up with 48. Doctor recommendation over 40. Cholesterol LDL, I started at 140, I ended up at 42. Doctor recommendation under 100. 3 glycerides, I started at 188, I ended up at 104. Doctor recommendation under 150. I got this cholesterol-HDL cholesterol ratio. I started at 4.8. I ended up at 2.3. Doctor recommendation under 5. Non-HDL cholesterol, I started at 172. I ended up at 61. Doctor recommendation under 130. Glucose, I started at 101. I ended up at 67. Doctor recommendation under 130. No, doctor recommendation between 65 and 99. I'm sorry. Um, Nitrogen, uric, yeah, uric nitrogen, BUN. That's what they abbreviated it for, BUN. I started at 10, now I'm at 4. Doctor recommendation between 7 and 25. Now in this area, apparently I'm off the chart. Sodium, I started at 139, I ended up at 138. Recommendation 135 to 146. Potassium, 4.7 to begin with, 4.7 to end with. Doctor recommendation 3.5 to 5.3. Chloride, I started at 105, now I'm at 97. Doctor recommendation 98 to 110. Calcium, I started at 9.4, now I'm at 9.3. Recommendation from the doctor 8.6 to 10.3. White cells, I started at 7.5. Now this is interesting. So white cells, I started at 7.5, now I'm at 5.2. Doctor recommendation in between 3.8 and 10.8. Red cells, I started at 5.77, now I'm at 4.95. Doctor recommendation 4.20 to 5.80. Hemoglobin, I started at 16.2, I ended up at 14.1. Recommendation from the doctor 13.2 to 17.1. And ketona, I don't know, ketosis, ketona. Now I'm negative, and apparently it's recommended by the doctors to be 3 plus. So I don't know exactly, what this is. But this being said, my dear friends, all I can say to you is that it's possible. You should do it. It feels great. It's a high achievement. You will feel great. You will realize that you don't need sugar, you don't need coffee, you don't need whiskey, you don't need wine, you don't need pasta marinara, you don't need meatballs, you don't need your Subway every now and then, you don't need McDonald's, you don't need anything. I mean, that's all I can say. Just consider the fact that you're more capable than you will ever be possible to comprehend, and go for it. If you're very, very skinny to begin with, I wouldn't recommend doing this longer than 7 days of water fasting. But once again, I did 54, God is my witness. I'm not seeking audience, I'm not seeking subscribers. Please don't subscribe, don't do anything. It's not like I don't need you, it's just I'm not here to actually gain any fame. I'm here to tell you it's possible. I did it, I'm a nobody. No training, nothing at all. If I did 54, you can definitely do 7 or 14 or 3 weeks or 30 days or 40 days or whatever, or maybe go to 64 days or 68 days or 79 days. You never know. Don't push it too long. Your body will tell you when to stop. If you want to listen, fine. If not, fine also. My doctor said, when I told him I'm at 50 days, he said, buddy, you better stop, because if not, how did he say it, man? The guy in black starts to head your way, kind of, So death will come. Now, eventually it will come. But if I did 54, you'll be fine doing 54. I'm not saying you should, I'm saying it's possible. I wish you all the best. If you have any questions or anything at all, I'll be here to answer. Write me on YouTube, find me on Facebook. I got the same name as my YouTube channel. If I have the answer, and if I pass the information through me and I know it's viable, I will give it to you. I'm no guru. I'm not. I got so many people asking me so many questions. I'm like, guys, I don't know much about what's truly happening. It's just that I know I did it. I know it's happening in a in a marvelous and beautiful way. I know it's possible, and that's the only reason I was doing this, to tell you it can be done, and if you want it, it's yours. Believe it, it's yours, and you're halfway there. I wish you all the best, happy fasting, peace and happiness, and all the best. From Orlando, Florida, for now, I wish you all the best in the world. See ya.